My name is Stephen Conroy. I'm the manager at the ICBF Beef and Dairy Research Centre located in Kildare Town, County Kildare. As part of the centre, one of our main pieces of research is collecting data on progeny of AI sires of interest. So you can see all the progeny here in the sheds behind me. Okay, so 60% of the progeny come from the dairy beef gene island programme, and 40% come from the beef gene island programme in terms of the progeny that are sourced into the centre here. As part of the centre, the animals come into us about 3 to 4 months prior to slaughter. So most of the traits we collect are near finishing. Some of the information that's collected on the animals includes feed intake using these Hoco Farm boxes behind us. So as the animals feed throughout the day, we record how much feed they eat and also how many times they feed throughout the day. This information then is very useful to the current indices, the terminal, the CBV and the replacement index. We also record how much future traits, how much water the animals drink, and we also record their greenhouse gas emissions using the green feed boxes behind us. When the animals are slaughtered then, at the end of their test period, then we collect information such as meat quality traits. And these include dissecting the carcass into 23 cuts of meat and individually weighing each of the cuts of meat. And this gives us an indicator of sires that produce progeny with high value cuts versus lower value cuts in terms of the percentage of the weights of the cuts. We also then take the right hand side of the strip line, and from that then we dissect it into inch thick steaks. And then we take them steaks in conjunction with Meat Technology Ireland and Teagasc Ashtown, and we send them for sensory analysis. And there they go for taste testing to look at the tenderness, juiciness and flavour of the steaks. And this then we've built a large data set of 10,000 animals where we can develop predictions on the live animal as to what their eating quality will be like for the consumer. Each year 700 animals come through the centre, and their selection process is based on their age, sire of interest and the weight. So when the animals are selected, we select 20 progeny from each centre. Some of these progeny come from suckler cows and some of these progeny come from dairy cows, depending on whether the sire of interest was used on both. So what happens when the animals arrive? They come from direct from farms, so they come from different farms. Typically, depending, we get 7 to 8 progeny from each farmer on average. And when the animals come in, they get acclimatised for 30 days. So they get all their vaccines, their dosing protocol, everything gets put in place. And then they start their test period. And the test period, depending on the production system, can run anywhere from 70 to 100 days. And also depending on the gender. Heifers are finished out sooner than steers and bulls. And when the animals then start their test period, they're weighed on day 1, and then they're weighed subsequently every 2 weeks. And from that then we're able to assess the live weight gain, the average daily gain. Through the equipment we have on the farm, then we know their feed intake, so we can get the animals' feed efficiency from their time here while they're on test. And then we also have our other equipment which records our greenhouse gas emissions such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and I suppose methane, and also then we record their water intake as well. So in terms of some of the results that we're getting from Tully, we recently done analysis on 400 steers where we looked at the high CBV, top 20%, versus the lowest CBV, bottom 20%. And there was €120 difference in terms of value based on the 2 CBVs. So this is before when the animals came in, before we looked at any data from Tully. When we looked at the data from Tully, we found there was a 12 kilo difference in carcass when the animals were slaughtered, 0.7 of a kilo of dry matter in feed intake per head per day, which equates to €21 over a 100-day finishing period. And also then the animals in the top 20% on CBV graded 1 grade higher on the conformation score and 1 grade higher on the fat score. So over the period that they were in Tully, based on better carcass weight, better feed intake and better conformation, the top 20% in CBV delivered €106 more in value over the bottom 20%. The animals are fed a total mixed ration, which consists of a ratio of 10 kilos of concentrates, 3 kilos of hay and 9 kilos of water. And I suppose the reason we put water through the diet feeder is to ensure they eat 2% of their body weight, so they eat to appetite, to get the genetic differences between the animals. Based on our data to date, the animals eat on average 24 times a day. So they're eating no more than a kilo fresh weight at a time, and they're also drinking 10 times a day. So it's some interesting stats in terms of how often animals feed, even though they have ad libitum feed in front of them the whole time.